Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 86 of the GVGCast. I'm your host for this episode, Steve Bowling. I'm joined by my good friends and partners in crime here, Daniel Alba and Ash Paulson. And it's the end of the year. It has been a wild year in gaming. I know that it's been wild for me personally. I think for all of us to some degree personally. But we're here, our final GVGcast of the year. And I felt like this is a good opportunity to have more of just a chill episode, a check-in, if you will, with our panel here. Not a whole lot of news to discuss, just kind of kick back and appreciate the year that we've all experienced as a community. But before I get into that, let's start with you, Daniel. How you doing?
Doing okay. Had a week of the kids home as it is winter vacation, and so I have not as much time as I used to because there's a lot of them running around doing their own thing. They're going places. We watched a movie last night, which was actually kind of nice that they're here to do that, and they don't have to go to bed at super early hours to do so because I'm up late all the time. But yeah, we actually started to play. I introduced them to Suika Game. Have you guys played Suika Game yet?
Man, I really want
Nice.
to. I haven't.
It's such a good game to like show kids because you can all basically play together. It's such an easy concept, and that game is super addicting. So that's been really fun to just see the whole family just kind of like point at the screen. You're like, do that, and it's just like it's so intense, more so than it should be. These cute little fruits, but yeah, it's been fun. What have you guys been up to?
Well, speaking of Suika Game, I guess that is my wife's new obsession.
Oh, nice.
One of my I had a holiday potluck. I have an annual holiday potluck every year where I just get a bunch of local friends together and, have some good food, good drinks, play some games, play lots of Smash, of course. But then one of my best friends who was there, he was like, have you guys played Suika Game? And I'm like, well, of course I know about it, but I haven't really had a chance to check it out. But I've heard so much about it. He's like, we have to play it. So he played it for us. And it is now my wife's new obsession. She plays at least one game every day, trying to top her high score.
Excellent.
And she is, you know what? She is way better at it than I am. I think it's a brilliant game, but I fully cop to it not being my kind of game.
Really?
I just don't have the patience for it. It's a very slow paced, methodical puzzle game, and it's very clever in the way it's designed, and it's adorable to look at. And I hope the theme song from it is the last thing I hear before I die because it's so eerily.
Wow.
It's so ridiculous, this song.
So relaxing.
It's so relaxing.
That's kind of dark, though, man.
No, because it's such a relaxed. Trust me, once you play it, you'll know what I mean. It's not nearly as dark as it sounds. I promise.
When you die, if you happen to specifically die by being buried by fruits, I will thematically play that for you. No problem.
I appreciate it. But no, I fully cop to it not being the kind of game that is for me. I love watching her play it, but I like faster paced puzzlers like, Panel de Pon or Dr. Mario, or it requires a lot of long-term strategery and planning, and that just isn't my strong suit, and I fully admit it. But it's a brilliant game, and so I've been enjoying watching her play it. And but otherwise, I did the whole holiday thing. Spent one day with spent one day with my family, and then one day with my wife's family, and played a bunch of games and ate a lot of great food. I got some cool gaming stuff for gifts, and I'm sure we'll be talking about what we've been playing pretty soon. But yeah,
I over the holiday break, I turned myself onto the fact that the yen is really weak right now. So you can buy like eShop gift cards from Japan, like 9,000 yen is like $60, but it gets you the equivalent of like $90 worth of stuff. So I've been actually trawling like the Japanese eShop, just looking for cool stuff that I haven't heard of. And I have a video coming out next week about a game that I've been playing that is Japan exclusive, which I may talk about a little bit because it relates to my patron topic. So we'll discuss that in a little bit. No sponsor readout today. The year is over. But I will say, please go show the Game Orb love if you haven't. If they're live on Twitch, please consider subscribing. Help them get to affiliate. I just want to give them one for free. So I don't have copies. This one's from the heart, Eddie. If you could show him some love, he supported us all the way from our beginnings in 2020 to now. And so going into 2024, we'll be hopefully finding some new sponsors for the podcast, but we appreciate all the support he's shown us. Now, if you remember, I did a solo episode a while back, and I'm going to treat super chats and stuff like that similarly to how it was during my solo podcast. So if you're saying, if you super chat and it's like germane to what we're discussing, then I'll throw it in right then. But we will have a super chat section later on in the show for any super chats that are just kind of like unique topics that don't that don't quite line up with what we're actively discussing. That being said, there's a bunch of New Year's shout outs, so I would like to read those out right now, and then we'll keep going. We've got Dizzy Duncan with $5. What is the thing you're looking forward to most in 2024? I'm pumped to get that Sora amiibo as well as FF7 Rebirth. I'm not big on the Sora amiibo thing. We all know that I'm not a Sora guy. Like, I like Kingdom Hearts. I'm just not like a huge fan. But I do really like holy shit. But
no,
I do
right?
I do really like
Oh god.
Final Fantasy. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure I ordered a Sora amiibo for Ash, so I'm excited to send that to him.
I'm so thankful, man. Thank you very much. And my answer is, of course, FF7 Rebirth. You know me,
yeah. And to be fair, I did pre-order a Sora amiibo for myself, just because I have every third-party character. Right. I collect those more fervently than I do the Nintendo ones, just because I figure they will get vaulted and put away. What about you, Daniel? What's big in 2024 for you?
Oh my gosh. So on that topic, for Christmas, a friend of mine got me the last amiibo that I do not have of the Smash line, which was the Player 2 version of Bayonetta. This is the last Smash amiibo that I did not have. And now all I have to do is wait for Sora, and I'll be able to say that I made the poor decision of getting every single Smash amiibo that's been released.
Hell yeah.
Finally be done.
Are you an inbox collector, or do you open them?
I open them. Like right now, they're essentially all in a box right now. And so I'm just leaving this one in a box for the moment because there's just a place I can keep it without it getting damaged, because they're kind of all piled together at the moment. But otherwise, I can't do inbox. I would have no room for that as well.
Oh yeah, but, I hear you. That's same. I keep like, so with the third parties, I keep one brand new and then I open one. Like I have 2 Sephiroth, 2 Clouds, 2 Ryus.
Oh wow. Okay. That's dedication. I open mine. Yeah, I open mine.
I want to have a display shelf for them eventually, but I gotta pick and choose my battles right now.
Oh man, yeah, I have one right now. It's behind this wall. You can't see it, but it's holding my games right now. It's essentially a tape cassette holder, and it's the perfect size shelves to hold amiibo on them. And so once I finally have them all, I'm going to try and arrange them all together as they are on the player select screen. Hopefully there's enough room.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea.
But those are perfectly sized if you're looking for something to hold your amiibo. If you happen to find a place that has like little tape cassette shelves, those are a perfect size.
I'm gonna have to remember that. I never would have thought to do that.
Fantastic.
The actual thing.
Oh, good.
Oh, sorry. The actual thing I'm looking forward to, because I just went off on amiibo for a moment. We're gonna talk about it later. I have this right now.
Ooh.
The remake is coming. I'm excited to play the remake of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and to make videos on it and to play it, and for all of us to just enjoy that however long, like at least for the first week that we're all gonna be playing that together. It's gonna be a magical time, and I'm just looking forward to doing that. Streaming it probably. I don't know. We're gonna do whatever we can for that game, but super excited for The Thousand Year Door.
Nice.
Same.
Let's well, thank you, Duncan, as always, for your generosity and for the super chat. Next up we have Dion Huynh, which I'm assuming, because I had a Vietnamese friend who spelled their middle name the same way and they pronounced it Quinn because it started with a Q. So I'm just gonna say Huynh. I hope I'm right.
That's what I've been saying as well when I read their name out. Yeah. With
$20, they write, "Let's hope for a great 2024. When do you guys think the Switch 2 is going to come out? And favorite Nintendo villain and why?" I'm going to take the opportunity to shamelessly plug our Patreon exclusive Nintendo podcast, because the last episode was literally an hour of me making predictions about when the Switch 2 would launch and what would come with it. So if you want to hear that, it's definitely November. But if you want to hear that, I've got an hour that's live on our Patreon at the live audience tier or above. You can listen to me ramble about that. We also give away free stuff pretty frequently. The community's been like just donating stuff for us to give away on the podcast for the last 3 weeks. And we have a really good one courtesy of Becca this week. So go check that out if you want to hear me like ramble at length. But favorite villain? Wind Waker Ganondorf.
Ooh, that's a good one. And just to piggyback on what you said, Steve, do I want to say November 21st specifically, since that's typically Nintendo Day every...
That's pretty good.
Yeah, November 21st, right? No, for
Okay.
me, it's Hades from Kid Icarus Uprising. There can be none other than Hades is my favorite Nintendo villain. He's so charismatic and so deliciously hammy. I love him so much.
Oh no, that was very close to what I was thinking of, but now I can't think of one that's unique to those.
Oh no, sorry.
Nintendo villain. Oh my gosh, I don't want to hold up this question because I can't think of one now. I'm stuck, guys.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said Hades. I stole him from you.
It's okay. I mean, that was like
Eggplant
an ideal
wizard,
one to
baby.
choose.
Just
Eggplant wizard. There you go.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. God. I'm gonna just throw one out there. I really enjoy the story that is the overarching story told, because now I have it on my brain. Count Bleck from Super Paper Mario.
Oh, good one.
Ooh, that is a good one.
That's a good
The
one.
actual story that revolves and the way that it accumulates and ends off, I was like, wow, I did not expect this, and I grew an appreciation for that guy at the
That's a
very
good
end.
one.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that those are good selections. Thank you, Dion, for the super chat. I'm gonna move on to Diesel with $4.99. Can we get an orchestrated version of the GVG theme with vocals like the FF16 victory theme? Our boy T Lopes did this one thanks to Ash providing the connect on that back in the day.
Right.
I don't know that we could top it, to be honest, but
I don't know. I don't think so.
I would have to lean back on T's expertise, and I will say this: no knock against T, but he's expensive. So I think if we asked him to pull an orchestra together, it would become exponentially more expensive, and rightfully so.
Yeah,
I love what he did for us, and I don't think that we could there are only so many composers as prolific as T who would work with the likes of us. So
right.
I think that we kind of did our best effort on the first time out with this one.
Yeah.
But that being said, if it existed, I'd love to hear it. I would absolutely love to.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. But thank you so much for that. Mercury following up with $5. Hey all, my first super chat in a while. Happy New Year to the GVG team and my fellow GV gang members. And here's to a great 2024. Yeah. Happy New Year. We're very excited.
Year,
it's hard to believe we're going
Year.
into year 4 of GVG, which
right.
Oh my gosh.
It feels like we've been at this like a year. So it's really weird to think about that, but it is also exciting. I think we're going to have some cool stuff coming in 2024. We've all been chatting behind the scenes about what we want to do this year, and I think this will be the best year yet. But thank you for that, and Happy New Year.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of returning pals, Aramis Baramis with $20 writes, Happy early New Year, GVG. Thanks for the great year, and here's to many more. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've
very
always
much.
been super generous with super chats. We always appreciate that. And we have 2 first-time super chatters. A with €5 writes, hello and happy almost 2024 to all of you. Love you guys. Thank you for your first ever super chat. And happy New Year to you as well. And Rocket Girl 716 with an astounding $100 super chat.
Thank
you. Their first one. Way to swing for the fences in your first time.
Yeah.
They write, hi Ash, really missed you guys. It's me, Saffron, your gamer friend. You guys are still awesome. Well, thank you. You're awesome.
Thank you
and
so much,
man,
Saffron.
Ash, keep drawing in fans, man.
Right?
You got a fan club.
Thank you so much, Rocket Girl. Or Saffron, excuse me. That is very, very nice of you, and it's great to see you again, and always great to hear from you. So thank you very much, and thank you for being in our community. We really appreciate you. Thank you, and Happy New Year.
I might have banished Daniel to the Phantom Zone here for a sec. Give me just a moment.
Oh, no.
Pre-show prep. They can hear you now. They just can't see you because I moved you out of frame somewhere. I was trying to show pets. I was like, oh, right, promote a pet. And then I just kind of...
Promote a pet, demote a Daniel. I see how it is.
I see.
No, demote a Daniel.
That's weird. Oh, there we go. I couldn't move you, Daniel. You were just hiding behind Ash. There we go. Daniel's back.
I'm just shy.
Yeah, he was just a shy little guy.
I just got here.
But anyway.
Thank you again, Saffron, seriously, for your generosity.
Yeah,
thank
you. Thank you.
Yes.
I didn't mean to yeet Daniel into oblivion while we were talking about that, but thank you. That means the world to us, obviously. We appreciate it so much, and I'm excited for 2024. I'm really it's going to be interesting to see how 2024 compares to 2023. I think that 2023 was one of those years in gaming that will be compared against for for a long time. Like the same way we were about 2017. 2017 was kind of this yardstick by which we measured other years. And I think 2023 kind of holds up to that as well. There were just so many amazing games that released this year. And we know coming in like very little about what's going to happen next year. We obviously have the upcoming Paper Mario remake, which I'm super excited for, though I think Daniel might take the cake on who's most interested in that game based on his earlier comments. So, Daniel, let me throw it to you. What is your experience with Thousand Year Door? Like, have you played it before, or is it just, are you going in blind?
Paper Mario is a series that I've held close to my heart ever since the N64 days. It's essentially the first game that's ever been like that has the RPG element into it. Like it's like RPG Light, the game. Like it has RPG in it, but it's not like your typical like your JRPG like Final Fantasy or what have you. And yeah, it was a format of game that I got super interested in, and so I leaned into that really hard. I would play it so many times. I actually answered a Patreon question not too long ago saying that around Christmas time, I would make sure that I played up to Chapter 7 in Shiver City so that on Christmas Day I could just play that chapter and enjoy Christmas that way. I have a lot of weird, unique bonds with this game. Like I remember I would fly to my family in Mexico, and I would play this game with them. There was a language barrier because I didn't really speak Spanish very fluently at the time, but we were able to kind of bond through playing this game together. And so like this series has always meant something special to me, and Thousand Year Door is the same way. Like I played it with friends. I let friends borrow it. I watched my one friend play it all the way through on the GameCube, and get destroyed by the final boss because it was too hard. But yeah, I adore this game so much, and it's the humor, the way the locales are so different than what you're used to, what you're expecting from a Mario game. The way they changed up so many things, and yeah, just the overall. I think this is one of the first games where Bowser was starting to become like comedic relief, which really started to flesh out his character during this era. So many experiences that I really adore and cherish, and I'm super excited to see like who else gets to experience that for the first time with the Thousand Year Door remake, because it's so inaccessible these days. Never been released, but it's only available in physical inflated prices on the GameCube. And I'm just glad this is happening. I still don't know how it's happening, but it's happening, and I'm not going to question it.
Now, I want to pick out a comment from our live audience. Vidron wrote, "It's my favorite RPG next to Persona." And there's 4 things I know you for, Daniel. Paper Mario now. Fire Emblem, Hoyoverse stuff, and Persona. So where would this rank in your personal like tier list of franchises or even specific games if you want to go that deep with it?
Gosh, like, oh my goodness, because like another one also definitely is like the Tales of series, like, all these JRPGs.
Right. How did I miss that one?
Right, that's you.
Your most successful year this video was a Tales video. Oh my god, I said year this video. All right, I'm tired.
It's we're all slowly checking out. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Oh my gosh, I've thought about this before. It's hard to rank these ones because I played more Tales games, so I think that one is a little bit below Persona. Persona is really high up there for sure. After playing like 3, 4, 5, all the different variations that we've had in spin-offs over the years. Paper Mario, they're just competing constantly, because I was at war with myself when I was doing my little award show of like, what do I put for my most anticipated? Is it the Thousand Year Door or Persona 3 Reload? I think Persona as a series, I do like it more, but the Thousand Year Door versus Persona 3 Reload, I'm more excited for the Thousand Year Door, if this makes any sense whatsoever.
Wow.
As a series,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Thousand. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, it's just as a series, Paper Mario has kind of fluctuated a lot, and so some of us only see like the original and Thousand Year Door as like that series, or sometimes they see the entire franchise as such. But I think that's the only reason why I put Persona a bit higher, is because like,
sure,
nice,
yeah, those ones are just their own thing at this point.
So Ash, I want to throw it to you because I know you and I have shared experience with Thousand Year Door back at GX.
Yes.
Where are you at on this one? Because I feel like I can't quite quantify my excitement for this yet. I'm not sure where I'm at with it, but where are you at?
I am incredibly excited. I think I would be even more excited if I hadn't played it semi-recently, for the whole Game Club thing, which had a way too aggressive schedule and kind of made it not as pleasurable to play as it was the first few times I played it. But
Right.
this game is incredibly special to me. It is one of my favorite RPGs ever. And I have a lot of faith in Nintendo getting this remake right, because we just saw the Super Mario RPG remake, and we saw that they kept that game's very specific weird vibes intact. SMRPG has very specific weird, like a very specific weird quality to it that they kept intact for the remake. And the Thousand Year Door also has a very specific vibe to it, and I have faith that they're going to keep that alive in the remake. And it's something that I'm so excited for people to experience for the first time. And what's interesting though is, and when I was kind of looking for our grab bag of potential news to talk about, this came up today. It was actually just rated by the ESRB today, which suggests that it might be coming sooner than we possibly think. But what's also interesting is that it's rated E. I was kind of expecting E10 plus, because you got some spicy stuff there. You got the noose in Rogueport. You got some spicy dialogue with Goombella and people flirting with her and saying some slightly weird adjacent stuff to her. I'm kind of surprised it's not E10 plus.
You got Madame Flurry just strutting everything right
Madame
there.
Madame Flurry, period.
Like, I don't really use her on my team, but Madame Flurry is a queen, and she's not afraid to strut her stuff just all out there.
Hell yeah. I mean, Max's Only in our YouTube chat says, I'm shocked it's not rated T. And some of the stuff almost goes teen adjacent in that game. So I'm surprised they got away with a straight E. But man,
I think it's more of a product of the times, though. Like, when I look at what my kids are exposed to online these days, I'm like, Paper Mario is the least of my concerns.
It's nothing.
Right.
Yeah, like even in just like popular media, like what's on Netflix for kids and stuff like that. I think there's a lot worse stuff out there than what is depicted in Paper Mario. But
there certainly is. It's a little spicy for Mario. It's just a little spicier than your typical Mario.
I agree with that.
To bring it back around, this game is incredibly special to me. It is one of my favorite RPGs ever. It's my favorite in the Paper Mario franchise, and definitely our replay during Game Club back at the old place brought into focus some of its shortcomings, like a lot of backtracking and such, but still, I love this game. I love its weird vibe. I love the characters, and I can't wait for that remastered soundtrack. I can't wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I wanted to go around the panel and ask when we think this is coming out. My bet is February. I actually think it's way closer than we think.
I hope not. Please no. Please no. Oh man. I think there's a chance you could be right about February. But I'm going to say, I think just for my own personal sanity, I'm just going to throw it out there. You could be right about February, but I'm going to say we already got Princess Peach Showtime for March, so I'm going to say April for Paper Mario.
Ooh,
I hope. It could very well be February, but this is just wishful guessing and hoping for me that it isn't. I'd rather it be April, because Rebirth, man. Like, I can't have something else. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Tekken 8 are already coming out on the same day, 2 days after Apollo Justice Trilogy. Like, chill, 2024. I need you to chill. I hope it's April, but I could totally see you being right that it's February.
Yeah. I wonder, what about you, Daniel? What are you?
Would we end up getting like our typically scheduled Nintendo Direct in February and then just have it be released?
Yeah.
Very soon I don't know. If they shadow dropped it, I would lose my mind in the best and worst way possible.
I know.
But I was thinking more of an April or May release as well, like in the early spring, late winter for this game. Because if they rated ESRB, then it might just be really close to the release than we think it will be. I'm going to throw out April 12th on a Friday. That's the day it's going to release.
Wow, that is
very specific.
We'll see.
Let's see.
I will timestamp this right now and see how close I am. Everyone place your bets now, everyone.
Has Princess Peach been rated?
I don't know. Let's see.
I don't think it has.
I don't think so.
Oh, no, wait. I take that back. Okay, this makes things even weirder. Princess Peach is E10. E10
what?
plus.
Yeah, it is. What in the world? This is E10 plus, but Thousand Year Door isn't? How?
What are they gonna do with Peach in this game?
All right, so that pokes a hole in my theory that maybe it would come out before Princess Peach because it's already rated when Peach
Right.
already is. I'm still gonna stick to my guns with February. I think that Nintendo needs to get a game out in the first quarter of the year, and I think Princess Peach releasing on the last week in March, I think, or like the back half of March at minimum. I think that that's pushing it a little far without a first party release. And I stand by my theory that this is the year in which Nintendo announces the Switch 2. And so I think you try to get some of those games that we already know about out earlier in the year so that people can save their precious beer tickets for a new console come November. At least that's my dream scenario. So
Well,
for the sake of my dream, I'm gonna get specific. I'm gonna say February 19th. Now I'll go there. I want to check back in on this after that game releases, see how close we were.
the only thing that I would offer as a counterpoint to that is that Mario versus Donkey Kong is coming out on February 16th. And we also have another Code Recollection coming out in January. So they're not big releases. They're not
That's true.
tent poles, but there are technically first party releases already.
I would
lined up
argue
for
that we
this
don't
quarter.
technically have a tentpole. I would say Princess Peach is the closest thing to it.
Yeah.
I know personally
Yeah.
of the games we know about, Princess Peach is the one I'm most excited for, but I also think it's going to ultimately be a niche title the same way Super Princess Peach was on the DS,
Yeah.
where it gets a lot of love over time. But it's one of those ones where people probably neglect to pick it up. Like, I want to get this one physical because I bet very few people will have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too.
But yeah, I don't know. Princess Peach 2024 is looking exciting. I'm gonna go ahead and jump to this story. I'm looking at the doc and I'm just reading over these like as we're discussing them. I'm not a huge Banjo guy. I'm on record as not being a big
Yeah.
Banjo guy, but I have a feeling I'm in differing company here. Let's put it that way.
Just a little bit.
Well, I know I was with Ash at E3 when they announced Banjo, and I saw that room. I was like
Yep.
the only one that was like, cool. Like everyone else, it was an explosion in that room.
Yep.
Like you would have sworn that everybody had agreed to pop off at the same time, and I was just like, neat. But so I'm going to throw it to the two of you. What do you guys make of this rumor of Banjo-Kazooie being in active development? Phil Spencer kind of name dropped Banjo-Kazooie a while back, but I feel like the Xbox/Rare fandom has been toyed with a lot in this regard over the last couple of years.
Man, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Is that we've been toyed with so much. I'm a big, Daniel and I both we're big Banjo fans, and it just feels like we've been hearing this for so long. I mean, Nate Drake has been correct a lot of the time. I'm not saying I don't trust him, but it feels like this has been something we've been hearing for such a long time that I'm reticent to put too much faith in it because I don't want to let myself down. I don't want to be hurt again. My barren bird heart doesn't want to be hurt again. But at the same time, he's got a pretty good track record, and they must know. Clearly Phil knows the demand is there. I just hope that if it is in development, that it isn't like a nuts and bolts 2. But something tells me that it's just not quite something we can take at face value yet. I don't know why, but I have a little bit of doubt still.
Yeah. What do you think, Daniel? Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like I've become numb to this because I feel like I'm hearing about this every now and then. People are saying, oh, there's a Banjo-Kazooie in development. Microsoft is cooking something now. We got to just wait a little bit longer. And at this point, I'm just like, if we see it, we see it. I want to see Banjo 3E one day happen. Of course I do. But at this point, it's hard to say what shape or form it would take because it's not the same team developing it as we had back in the good old days. And so whatever shape or form it takes, if it does happen, I'm curious to see what it looks like, because if we get like as Ash said, God forbid, a nuts and bolts too, I don't know how I don't know if the community will be able to contain itself for the implosion that will happen proceeding. But yeah, I really want to see what they do with the series, because I mean, there's definitely a lot of love for it. A very passionate fan base wants to see Banjo and Kazooie come back in a proper 3D platformer space. And we've had games that kind of try to help to fill that niche we've seen in the past, mostly indie titles and such. And I mean, they still do well. There's still an audience for that, and I think we can still see something like that be successful and take in what kind of advancements in technology we've had since then and apply it to there. So I hope I want to see who would develop it.
I have to say, if it is a nuts and bolts 2, I would have to give some credit to Nintendo for it existing, because I feel like there almost certainly was a pitch for a successor to Banjo-Kazooie that was developed to the point of existing like in a playable form somewhere within the bowels of Rare and or Microsoft. But I would be willing to bet that they saw the success of Tears of the Kingdom, specifically the Ultra Hand mechanic, and we're like, we could have been out in front of this years ago.
Yeah.
We pioneered this and no one remembers now.
All the jokes of Legend of Zelda nuts and bolts made me laugh when that was coming out, because essentially that's what it was. Like, you can make your own vehicles and do all this stuff that you could to an extent do in Banjo and Kazooie nuts and bolts. But yeah, it's a different story now, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. I feel like Tears of the Kingdom could have helped make that case for them, though. Like, hey, this gameplay loop that we created a long time ago still can be compelling, and people really, really like it, apparently. But I'm personally, like, I will probably pick up whatever Banjo successor comes out, because I feel like as a content creator, it's incumbent on us to play, like, things that people are talking about. Hence why I pretty much knew I wasn't going to like Baldur's Gate 3, but I dropped the $80 or whatever to play it and confirm my suspicion. I was like, yep, don't love it. But I would pick it up for that purpose, and also just to support the franchise, because I know a lot of my friends, like the two of you, will likely want this series to continue should it be revived. But I think I'm in the same boat. Like, I feel like this is something that is like a perennial rumor that emerges, and Nate does have a really good track record, but he does mention that it's only been greenlit. And as we all know, games can be greenlit and then canceled. Like, they can make their way through years and years of development and get scrapped for whatever reason. I mean, all you gotta do is go watch, what happened on Matt McMuscle's channel to hear a lot about the woes of making games.
Yeah.
But I would say, at least this is better than we've heard in a while, and hopefully it ends up panning out into something.
Yeah. I will be happy if we at least get Banjo-Tooie on NSO. That'll make me happy enough at this point for the Banjo fans out there.
Yep.
We should start taking bets. I genuinely at this point don't know if we're likelier to see a new Banjo game or a new Mega Man game first. I really don't know anymore.
Ooh.
Start taking bets. I really feel like it could go either way. Sadly enough, I feel like it could go either way.
We've had a new Mega Man game more recently, which is just wild to think about.
I know, and that was like 6 years ago now, which is really sad to think about. 6 or 5 years. 5 years.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
yeah.
I want to. That Ash, you put a story in here that just makes me want to cry. And I think you know which one it is. I
know exactly which one it is.
And I almost made a video just whining about it earlier this week. But the Chrono Trigger developers got together to talk about the chances of making a sequel, and to talk about Sea of Stars, to give it some well-deserved praise. Sea of Stars was probably it was my favorite indie of 2023. I played it. I haven't finished it, but I've played enough of it to know that it is truly something special. I think I'm like 10 or 15 hours in.
Okay.
And, I think I got a lot of heat for it in my Game of the Year video, saying that it was influenced by Chrono Trigger, which I was like, I thought that's the thing everybody knew about this. But I got a lot of pushback from people saying, like, no, it's not. I was like, my brother in Christ, have you played it? Like,
it absolutely is. It's not just Chrono Trigger, but it's inspired by, among other things, Chrono Trigger.
They haven't played Chrono Trigger, apparently.
Like what?
Okay, I'm glad that our live audience is backing me up on this one, because I was like, I read the comments and I was like, what? What What do you mean it's not
how do you
influenced by
not
Chrono Trigger?
how do you
Like,
not look at and how do you not look at what Sea of Stars is and not immediately think Chrono Trigger? I don't understand that.
yeah, I will. Jacobon in our live audience chat referencing the absolute deluge of Baldur's Gate comments we got in the week that we revealed our picks, and I gotta say it was I don't find them annoying or insufferable. I get loving a game and wanting to find it in your favorite YouTube channel. Hopefully, if you're coming here or your favorite YouTube channel, I get wanting to see it on someone's list, and I truly wish that it just hit for me the way it did for other people. But yeah, I looked at the comments on everyone's videos, and I was like, have you watched us? Like, I'm a little surprised that you think Baldur's Gate 3 would pop up like on Daniel's list, the most well-known JRPG guy on the channel.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of, it's looking back in hindsight, it's kind of comedic that none of us put one of the most acclaimed games, the game of the year, on our list.
Oh yeah, it is. It is for sure. Yeah. I mean, I referenced it, but yeah, it's I think it was one of those cases where most of us didn't play it. I know John was waiting for a physical copy. I didn't know that John was so staunchly anti-digital. I had no clue about that before Baldur's Gate 3. So I learned something from Baldur's Gate 3, and that is that John just only buys physical games. Which, I mean, good on you, John. I'm not that patient. Yeah, he's like, I won't play Alan Wake 2, which. I got respect for it. I don't have room for it. That's the thing. Like, I visited John, and his office is bigger than mine. It's quite large, which is, I mean, he's got a lot of shelf space for those physical games. Like, I've got 2 bookshelves that are full, and that might be about it. But Aramis in our live audience chat saying they caved and went digital for Alan Wake 2 because no choice, which. Yeah, I gotta admit that's the problem with me. I don't know about you guys, but I'm an impulse buyer. Like, if I'm really hyped for a game, I'm just like, I want it minute one. Like, I don't want to get up, go out, pick it up, wait for FedEx. None of that. I just want it to like flip on to where I can play it, and I will do some unhealthy things on hype game release night. Like, I'm gonna crush a whole pizza. I'm gonna chug a bunch of caffeine. And I'm gonna play till 3 or 4 a.m. and just die in my seat.
It depends on the game for me. There are some games where I don't mind just having it digitally and flipping it over second one, but there are others that I just kind of know that I want to have physically, and that I'll go out day 0 to go get it, and just go grab my physical copy and just make sure I set time aside in the day to go do that. But it just depends on that. Like, I want to have FS7 Rebirth physically, but I'm going to make sure that I'm ready, to go get that day 0 or, whatever. But it depends on the game. Like Apollo Justice Trilogy, it'd be nice to have that physically, but I don't need it physically. And like, that's just something I'm going to play with my wife as soon as it comes out. So I'll just probably pre-order that digitally.
Yeah, that's fair. I think, I see people talking about Breath of the Wild and stuff. It's difficult so we don't get like early code from Nintendo, so that's no longer an issue. But like with other games, it's tough knowing whether or not we're going to get it. And so if we get it, obviously that's you're digital. Nobody sends physical review code out anymore, though that used to very much be the case. Like back in the 3DS days, Nintendo would just ship you the physical game. And so I have a huge collection of 3DS games. Like I thought I had more Switch than anything else. I'll have to post a picture in live audience later tonight at the studio where I have my game collection out now. But like the bottom of both of my bookshelves is all 3DS. And I was like, I got like 400 games over here.
My God.
But what about you, Daniel? Are you digital or are you physical mostly? Like I know right now your living situation is such that you're probably, just in boxes like I am currently, but when you have the choice, what do you prefer?
Oh, I prefer, if I can, going physical. I enjoy having the physical copy, the box. A lot of the most recent games that I've got, Mario Wonder, Pikmin 4, those have all been in Mario RPG. Those are all physical in box because it's just something I'm used to. I like having that tangibleness of having the cart there. Certain series or certain games I won't really mind so much to get digital, especially if there's some that I'm going to be like constantly going back to. But for some reason, I don't know, Pokemon has been kind of a series that I always get digital, and certain things like Animal Crossing, where I don't want to go in and out, flipping the cartridge every so many times when I could just have it for their. If I could just have it there for the sake of convenience, I'll just have it there digital. Um, certain ones, certain ones like Fire Emblem, I try to get physical for every single one. Even like the ones that are like spin-offs, like the Warriors games, I have physical for pretty much every single one in the series. I hope I can get the Japanese only ones physical one day. I have a whole collection, but that's for another day.
Ooh,
But yeah,
I
I'm
have a
mostly physical.
Japan. Yeah, I'll have to send you my collection of Japanese DS games. I have quite a few. I was import crazy
man.
back then.
Man, I look back now and some of the ones could, because it's such a popular franchise now. Like even the Binding Blade, Roy's game for the Game Boy Advance, that one's it's expensive to find those physical now.
The
But
Binding
yeah,
Blade, huh? I'm gonna have to look. I have a couple Fire Emblem games. Uh, I bought more than I've played. Let me put it that way.
I probably
Like,
you probably
Yeah.
have to you probably have to search the Japanese name, because when you search Binding Blade, there's a lot of like people who put the ROM of the English translated patch into a physical cartridge, which are much less expensive. So
yep,
you might
I'm
have to look
seeing
like
that
the
now. Oh,
Fuden no
interesting.
Suguri. That's the actual Japanese name. And we'll have to see. It's been a while. I have to see how much those are worth these days. But man, I remember going to a con once and I saw it there, and I was like, maybe not right now, because I was buying other stuff at the con. But now I really regret it, because it was like what, $40 back then in the day. It was a lot cheaper than what it is now.
Man, my recommendation to anybody looking for Japanese only games hardware. I promise this isn't like they didn't pay me to say this because I would have said it at the beginning if they did. Use Buy, Buyee. Like
I've heard of it.
if you
Oh
if
yeah,
you
I've heard
shop
of
on
it.
like Japanese websites for used games, like used games in Japan are ridiculously cheap, like
Yeah, they are.
insanely cheap. I got a Super Famicom for like 400 yen.
Thank God.
I got a copy of Dr. Mario, like original Famicom complete in box for like $2. Like, and they just box up and like buy you. What they do is they ship stuff from like a proxy address in Japan straight to your house. So you can shop on Japan only auction sites. They'll handle the actual like exchanging of money for you, and then they'll just charge you like as though you bought it from them. And it's so good. Like, cause you can find
Yeah.
stuff like that Fire Emblem game, I bet costs a fraction of what it would to acquire it within the States. Like you would get it shipped straight to your door for like probably less than half of what someone would charge you at a con or
Yeah.
even on eBay or something.
Gosh, yeah, I gotta take a look into that. One day I'll
Yeah.
have a full physical collection of Fire Emblem. I have freaking the Turing Saga physical, because I think we were gonna make a video on that at one point, but
I think
even that, like,
Did we never
that
make
too.
that?
I don't think, I don't think we did.
Now I was like, I could have sworn that a video came out from us about tier ring, but it just maybe
it
it's
did
just
too.
one of those things
Yeah.
we were talking about a lot and we never got all the way to the finish line.
Right.
That would have been
Well,
cool.
We'll talk about that soon. Maybe that could be something to do in the new year.
Yeah, there we go. 2024. Let's
I'll let you know.
make that video we talked about in 2022.
Yeah, Kaga's games that aren't FE. There's a story behind that, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that would be cool because it's like a Fire Emblem's lost kind of the missing link in Fire Emblem. Is
It's
what
a
I should
lost
say.
cousin for Fire Emblem for sure. It came out on a non-Nintendo console. It's wild.
Yeah. So I wanna ask you guys about this next thing because I was I got excited reading this and I know that Ash probably had like a minor heart attack. So Proto Dude, right? Is it Proto Dude? Yeah, Proto Dude.
Proto
Proto
Dude,
Dude's
yeah.
Rockman Corner. They tweeted, and I saw this tweet earlier in the week, about 8 Japan exclusive mobile Rockman games getting dumped and preserved after they were thought to be lost media. Like they just randomly found 8 of them. And I don't know enough about Mega Man to really know if these were any good, if this was worth anything. I think finding media like this is always has some value to it. But I'm curious, Ash, what do you make of these games that were found essentially?
I've heard of most of them. I think it's, like you just said. I mean, you don't even have to be a Mega Man fan like I am to just appreciate when lost media and lost games are preserved in some way, shape, or form. Especially, earlier mobile games that that really only were playable on like flip phones and that era of mobile phones. So I think it's really cool that this stuff is being preserved. There's nothing here that's like making me go, "Oh my god, this is a must play." Holy, it's nothing like that. But there is some really cool stuff here. In particular, the Mega Man Legends game, Rockman Dash Great Adventure on Five Islands. That's kind of I think probably out of all of these, that's probably the golden goose to have that kind of preserved and dumped for other people to play. Because this is truly, truly lost games. And these are games that would never have been available again otherwise. And that the Great Adventure in Five Islands is literally a 3D Mega Man Legends game that never was available on any other platform, just for mobile phones, and it's like a side story. So it's cool stuff. I mean, it's not like blowing my mind. I just think it's really neat from a preservation perspective. It's not going to get me, exploding with excitement like an actual new Mega Man game announcement would. But I think it's really cool, and I think in particular, besides the Rockman Dash Mega Man Legends game, both Mega Man Battle Network games, Rockman EXE Phantom of Network and Legend of Network, to have both of those preserved as well is really, really cool. And yeah, and there's also a role game. It's like a role skinned version of Mega Man 1. And so basically you can play his role in Mega Man 1 in a mobile version of Mega Man 1. And it's kind of weird to see her see Mega Man 1 with a sprite of role being playable instead of Mega Man. So that's pretty cool. Nothing mind blowing again, but I think it's pretty neat that this stuff is available now or becoming available.
Yeah. Go ahead, Daniel.
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have as much of a word in this race.
Same, yeah. I looked at some footage while Ash was talking for the Rockman Dash game, or Mega Man Legends as it's known out here, and I'm actually kind of impressed by the visual fidelity of that, considering it was on like a candy bar phone.
Right? Yeah.
That
cool stuff.
That to me is pretty cool, and Proto Dude mentions that there are still yet more things on the SD card they recovered all these games from, like more Rockman content. Like that Five Islands game you mentioned is the only part available that they've recovered is the final piece.
Right.
But the other 4 pieces are on the card, he confirmed.
Right.
And they're working to like basically decrypt those and remove the DRM so that they can make them available. And then there's a game like Rockman Tennis and Rockman Diver are on those, which I know nothing about. I mean, Rockman Tennis is pretty straightforward, but
Diver I had heard
Diver
of. Tennis
really?
I had not. Yeah. I had not heard about Rockman Tennis actually. And I agree with you, Steve. Looking at the specifically the footage of Rockman Dash, it's really impressive what they were able to pull off on such old mobile hardware.
Yeah, it's kind of like those, if you've ever watched Stop Skeletons from Fighting, their punching weight series, where they show like, these kind of impossible games running on the GBA sometimes. It reminds me of that, where it's just like, it's very primitive, crude 3D, but it's shocking that it exists at all. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. Great way to end the new year, to find, a lot of lost media. It's nice that these things are getting dumped and preserved for people to play. I mean, I can't imagine, if they found like a new PSO game or something and just like, hey, this was on phones and you never heard of it. Or, one thing I'd love to find is Shenmue Online, which was, I think, a Facebook game. And it was only in, I think, Korea or Taiwan. I never got to play that. I'd love to be able to play that. But with that said, all right, so I'm just gonna mention to y'all, we're gonna start doing our mailbag. We're gonna start reading our patron topics. If you'd like to super chat, now's your chance. We did read through all of them, so if you have any topics you'd like to bring up, we can address those during the patron readout. I'm gonna go ahead and start with you, Ash. What's your topic for this week?
So my topic for this week comes from Colin, who asks, what are some of your favorite books or movies about games? Not adaptations of games, but stories that discuss gaming culture and history.
Ooh.
And I have a guilty pleasure for this one. I know that this is not a documentary in the strictest sense that it's it was very embellished and kind of shot in very specific ways to, to create a hero villain narrative arc that isn't necessarily completely accurate. But I have a guilty pleasure here, and that is The King of Kong, A
Ooh, good.
Fistful of Quarters. I love this movie, and like I said, I hesitate to call it a pure documentary because it is embellished a little bit the way it's shot and stuff. But I love this movie / documentary so much because it is such a weird look into a very specific window of gaming subculture where just old high score chasers of old school games, and you got all these wacky personalities, like really odd people, but in the best way, other than Billy Mitchell, about Billy Mitchell. But it's so well shot, even if it isn't necessarily the most accurate, unbiased look at the whole thing. The way it's shot and the way the narrative is formed and the way all these oddball people are kind of given character in this documentary, I just love it, and I go back and watch it every couple of years or so because it just makes me smile, and it's just such a fun watch. I assume both of you guys have seen it based on your reactions.
It's been
Yeah.
a long time, but yeah, I have.
I actually got to see it in theaters. I got to go to the premiere of
wow.
it in LA.
Really?
They had the premiere in Santa Monica, and I got to go see the premiere in theaters, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I saw the movie, and I've been following the subsequent like lawsuit between Billy Mitchell and Twin Galaxies for years now. Like,
Yeah.
I actually was fortunate enough. I don't remember how, but I ended up stumbling upon the original dispute thread about Billy Mitchell cheating right like within a couple days of Zelnia opening it on the Twin Galaxies forum. So I followed that thread for actual years, waiting for Twin Galaxies to weigh in, and now have been following the lawsuit through Carl Jobst and other folks that have been covering it. And what a mess! Like,
Oh yeah,
I recommend. There's a lot of if you want to see the kind of like lengths that this guy has gone to protect his image. It's a wild story. Like,
it really is
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the whole American flag tie he wears, and like he's like a hot sauce mogul, and he'll like go to grocery stores and like hide other people's hot sauce and put his own in front of it. Like, this guy is the pettiest dude you could ever imagine.
oh yeah.
He's just so petty.
Yeah, they oh man, what was it? Another YouTube channel put out like a 4-hour video about Billy Mitchell just a couple months ago, and I watched it last night, ironically. And he's like Billy Mitchell's not a liar. It's not like he's gonna say something wild like he was the first person to sell chicken wings in Florida, and they have him on video saying that, like that his restaurant was the first one in Florida to sell chicken wings. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. It's absolutely wild. Like, if you haven't seen this movie, again, it is shot in a very specific way to create a narrative arc, even though Billy Mitchell truly is a villain. But it's just such a fun watch, and if you know what you're getting into, it is a wild ride, and I can't recommend it enough. And I do have one more quick answer.
Yeah, please.
And this is a bit of a shameless self plug, but there is a book called Video Game of the Year, a year-by-year guide to the best, most bizarre games from every year since 1977, and written and edited by Jordan Miner. And it's a great book. I've actually read through the whole thing. I think it's fantastic, and I recommend it to anybody who just wants a great year-by-year look at some of the coolest games, every year since 1977. But the shameless plug part comes in when I say that yours truly actually has an entry in that book as well. So if you read through the book, you might find some choice words about one of my favorite games of all time in the book. So you should definitely check that out.
Nice. That's awesome. Daniel, what's your pick?
Oh man, this came out very recent. It's not really. I won't go too much into detail because it is fairly recent. Have you heard of Your Earthbound USA?
Oh yeah.
It pretty much documents. It's just a documentary it started like 10 years ago, they finally were able to get all the way through and push to have this thing done. Just last month, I believe. It's like about a little more than maybe an hour and a half long, and there's so many people involved from this that are like people from like Starman.net, translators for Mother 3 and so forth, and people that just were involved in the whole history of this, getting the game here. There's like reenactments of like old timey back then when they had their old computers and such and all that stuff. It's a fun little look at this, because anything that I see with Earthbound, there's always so much love and passion put into these. Even like last year, Xeon from Nintendo Life made that video for Mother as well, that I actually also self-plugging in. I helped a little bit in that video as well.
Hell yeah.
I provided some of the graphics to show in that, and that was also really well done. I'm just a sucker for like anything Mother Earthbound created by the fans, because they're such passionate people and folk, and that's some of the most wholesome things you could see by the fans on the internet. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, please check it out. It's a really cool look.
Nice. Yeah, I keep meaning to watch that.
It's great.
I don't have a plug, unfortunately, but my pick for this question would be Console Wars by Blake J. Harris.
Oh, nice.
The game industry, particularly in the 16 and 32-bit eras, was really like just kind of a black box. Like, you never knew what the hell was going on. And I mean, I attribute a bit of that to the fact that I was a literal child at that time. But it's really cool to kind of see how messy the industry was at that point. Like, Blake got a lot of kind of just inside information from people that were boots on the ground at both Sega and Nintendo at the time. And talking about, how PlayStation kind of caught both companies flat-footed, how Sega's internal strife led to the N64 even existing. Like, a lot of really cool stuff in that book that kind of helps explain some of the major ups and downs that occurred during that time for pretty much everybody that was in the business. One of the best books I've ever read, even barring, even without limiting it to the topic of games. It's just a really good historical look at the industry from someone who's old enough to have, been an adult at that time. Really, really love it.
Nice.
But yeah, that was it. I've been remiss in my duties. OBS decided that it was going to do its usual thing, and it didn't alert me to like a metric shit ton of super chats.
I was wondering when you said that. I was like, wait a minute, there are a bunch more.
Yeah, I saw somebody. Fortunately, someone in our live audience said, "Wait, you're already done with them?" And I was like, "What do you mean? We haven't gotten one in a while." And I look, and I'm just like, "Holy shit! Y'all are very generous," is what I'm going to say. So I do want to chip away at some of these before we move to the next topic. I apologize to those of you who super chatted. They literally just didn't come in for my view in OBS. But we have Jackamon with €10 who writes, "Happy New Year, you guys, and I hope 2020." I'm going to think you mean 2024 is a great year. Out of curiosity, what is your favorite piece of animated content, be that fan animated TV series or movie? I don't mind. Favorite piece of animated content?
That's tough. I don't know if this is cheating, but you said TV series is fine, so I'm just going to say Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood as a whole. Just in general, that is like the perfect anime and one of the greatest things I've ever seen. So, FMA Brotherhood as a whole, I will say.
I'm a sucker for the animation that you see in the Miles Morales movies. Those are perfection for me.
Oh, that's good.
I love those.
Good one.
That is good. I'm trying to find the studio that I really like. It's like specific episodes of Dragon Ball. Like, Dragon Ball was worked on by like 5 different studios, and there's one studio that's just way better than all the others, but I'll admit that I don't know the names of them. Oh, there we go. Jason in our live audience chat, Studio Junio. Thank you very much. Like, if you watch Dragon Ball, you can start to spot like which studio is kind of like the B tier versus the A tier studios, and there's really just like one S tier studio for Dragon Ball, and it's apparently Studio Junio, so that's who I'd choose. Any episode animated by them, but particularly their stuff at the end of the Boo arc was incredible. But thank you for the question, Jacomon, or rather question. Leo Flo with a $5 super chat says, "Happy New Year. Here's to a fantastic 2024. Hell yeah. Let's hope."
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please be the year of the Switch 2. Please. Please. All right. Alan Wilkinson with 5 British pounds. Random thought. What if the upcoming Super Mario 2 movie is a Doki Doki Panic crossover? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, guys. That would be cool. I could actually see them including like an Easter egg about that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I hope so. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
The whole movie will be a dream.
Right.
Dream
Yeah.
sequence. That would be pretty funny too. Melicaden with 5 Canadian says, loved your awards video, Daniel. I was also blown away by Fontaine's story. So it was cool, a cool surprise to see you mention it. Have a great 2024, guys. Well, thank you.
Thank you for reminding me that there are, in fact, you out there that have played this, not just putting it on there as a throwaway.
Yeah.
But yes, that's one of my favorite things I played through this year. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that.
I need to give Genshin another try. I want to. I just need to find time. It's one of those things where it's so big now that I'm just like, do I have time for this?
Oh yeah. The longer this game goes, the more intimidating it is for newer players, and they're trying to compensate for that. But yeah, like I was gonna say, there's like an anime coming out for this at some point or another. We don't know when, but there was supposed to be the Switch version, and I think the game got so big that there was no way to compress that all into the Switch, and so now I'm pretty sure they'll have this in like the next system. That's when the Genshin will come to another console.
That's a good idea for a launch title. Like to have Genshin as like a launch title for the Switch 2. Hey, we couldn't do it on the Switch; it got too big. Now you can play it portably on this. That honestly, that would probably get me to jump into it. Like if I could play it handheld. But thank you so much for the super chat and for the compliment. Disney Duncan, $2. Tears of the Kingdom Ganondorf is my favorite. I apologize, I didn't read that when it came up. OBS just froze, but yep, that's a good Ganon. A good Nintendo villain, more specifically.
Yes. By the way, I think you missed one, Steve, really quick. We had another one from Rocket Girl 716.
Oh, I don't see it. That's
no worries.
I really dislike that. Can you read that out for me?
Of course. We had another one from Rocket Girl 716 for $5. Thank you so much, Saffron. Busy. I'm meeting your dad Tuesday in March in Jamestown. Meaning my dad's probably having one of his Animaniacs live concerts or conventions. So yeah, have a great time. I hope you have a great time meeting my dad. And thank you again for your incredibly generous donation.
Yeah,
Saffron. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for catching that.
No
on my view, next up I have Twilord with €5. Internal monologue, the best villain is subjective. Ash, Hades, internal monologue. Ash is objectively correct.
Yeah, you know. If you know, you know.
Let's see. Blaker36 with $4.99 changed my Netflix profile pic to Diglett. Why don't we have a mole emoji? That's a good question. I guess I never considered. They add new stuff to emoji, and I feel just like I discover them eventually.
Same, yeah.
Like there used to be articles about that stuff, and I think pop culture is just like, yeah, we'll see them on our phones. Kaiser the Fighting Demon, $2. Spartans from Halo versus random ass soldiers from COD. Spartans, easy.
Gotta be Spartans, right?
I like that you even called them random ass soldiers.
Yeah. By the way, I think you missed one more, Steve.
Oh, who have you got?
Yeah, Jacomon with €20.
Yep.
Thank you
see,
so much,
for some
Jacomon.
reason, some of these just disappeared for me.
Weird. The message was retracted, so I don't know what it would have said, but either way, we really appreciate the €20, Jacomon. So thank you very much.
Yep. And if you want to drop that message in live audience chat, we'll read it out from there.
Yes.
Let's see. We had H Toast Art, which is our friend Ricky, I believe, with 129 Mexican dollars. Last super chat of the year, sending lots of love. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ricky.
Yeah.
So much appreciated.
You know, I gotta say, I don't think we ever got because it's such an old meme at this point, but I don't think we have Bathtub Daniel or Brandon. I'm gonna have to commission them.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Gotta get those
We're
done.
gonna have to add them to the Bath Boys.
We gotta get. Did we get Brandon in the tub?
Did we?
I think Brandon's the last one.
I think he's the last one.
We need to shame Brandon into tub streaming.
Yep.
Because we got John. Yep, look at that audience calling you out, Brandon. I know you're gonna watch this.
Oh no!
Someone clip this and send it to Brandon.
We got to get John to do it again though, because remember he was a dry boy in the tub. He didn't actually fill it with water. I don't know if that counts.
Oh, that's
he was just sitting in the tub without.
I think
water.
A dry boy is fine.
You just want to see John wet again.
Yeah. Let's see. Kaiser the Fighting Demon, Shadow from Sonic versus Virgil from Devil May Cry. I like Shadow better, so I'm just gonna say Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow's got
can
chaos
stop
control.
time.
And
yeah.
he can go super. He's super Shadow. No, it's Shadow.
Yeah, I
Virgil's
think
tough,
so.
but it's Shadow.
Let's see. We've got Twilord again with 5 pounds. They learned from nuts and bolts not to go off. Oh, gosh, my screen is glitching real bad. Hold on.
Oh no.
No, it's putting the right click dialogue above the chat. They learned from nuts and bolts not to go off the beaten track. It will be a prequel over the shoulder about Banjo being Kazooie's adoptive father.
That would be something.
That would wow.
That is an angle for sure. Can
That
you
is a
imagine? Yeah.
I'm here for it. I like
Sure.
this grimdark reboot of Banjo-Kazooie.
Let's go.
Jacob Tucker with $5 to everyone attending the Seattle or San Francisco Sonic Symphony shows. What are you most looking forward to? Excited to be there, Daniel. I'm hoping to attend Seattle, but just music.
Do it. It is one of the best shows I've ever been to. I'm so excited for you, Daniel, and Steve. If you go, cannot stress enough how incredible a show it is.
I'm going to be there, absolutely, in the San Francisco show. So I hope whoever's going to the San Francisco show, I hope to see you there. As for what I'm looking forward to, like in general, the atmosphere, because apparently it's like electric at this place, and I'm curious to see just how much that energy is emanating from the venue. And as for a song, like if I had to pick a song, I hope I hear Stardust Speedway. I love that song. The Bad Future version, the versus Metal Sonic version, anything. Give me Stardust Speedway.
God,
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, for me, I guess I'd want to hear Starlight Zone in person because I know I'll hear Live and Learn. Like that's an easy one. But,
right.
Yeah.
Like give me the Sonic Adventure butt rock tracks and then some good Sonic 1 stuff. I'm happy with that.
All I'll say is you need to go, Steve. No spoilers. All I'll say is you better go. You better do it.
I might have to just make the trip up and get a hotel for the night. That may be what I end up doing.
It's worth it, I promise you.
Let's see. All right. Well, thank you so much for the super chat, Jacob. Zombie Joe is back with their 3rd super chat. And we've got speaking of Mega Man, have you guys seen the Teppen event going on right now? Ada Wong is a cyber elf and Leon drives a mech from Lost Planet.
It's so cool. They're doing a Mega Man Zero crossover event in Teppen right now, which is giving us a bunch of cool new art. And yeah, cyber elf Ada. Who'd have thought that would ever be a thing? But yeah, it's really cool, the whole Mega Man Zero thing they're doing right now.
Nice. That is awesome. So
really cool
wow,
stuff.
we just gained 2 new patrons.
Oh wow!
We gained 2 new executive producers, no less. So we've got Jordan Saint Sir at the I believe they're at the Fight a Partner tier. Yeah, they are.
Okay.
And then we've got Esax08 at the executive producer tier. Welcome, both of you. I will get your names in the credits before the end of the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You guys are being incredibly generous. We appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. So yeah, I need to check out Teppen apparently. Thank you for the chat, Zombie Joe. Twilord with €5. Ash gets an old phone and installs the Lost Mega Man media and accidentally gets a net navi of Mega Man EXE.
I'll take it. Hey, I'd love to have my own net navi, especially if it's Mega Man. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Let's see. Disney Duncan, $5. I'm going to read Disney Duncan's trio real quick. $5, $2, and $2 more. They write, I hope Disney does better next year. It's a shame that movies like The Marvels and Wish flopped. Yeah, I think they need to regroup and strategize a bit to see what earns. I know Ash said he liked The Marvels. I haven't seen it yet.
It was a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, could be good. Let's see. Based on your Game of the Year videos, Tears of the Kingdom is the GVG Game of the Year. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty safe. I'd say that's a safe bet. We're probably going to change up our format next year. I don't know to what, but we're probably going to change it up.
Yeah.
I like Daniel's format of like category awards. I thought that was a smart way to do it. But I think we need to also have like an audience award. I think like a GVG audience Game of the Year award or something. But anyway,
that'd be cool.
We got a year to figure that out. The world could burn by then. And finally, Disney Duncan's last of his trio. Has anyone had a What If marathon recently? I think you mean like the Marvel animated show. I liked that. I thought it was
season
good.
2 is out. I gotta watch it. That's next on our watch list. Yeah.
I didn't know there was a season 2
really...
yet, but I loved season 1.
Same.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, our good pal, and I'm glad to see this name back in Super Chat land. A drink to the past with $2. Happy New Beer, which is extremely fitting. And if I had
That's
one,
so
I'd
good.
chug it for you right now.
Perfect.
I have some upstairs. I promise to drink one during the post show in your honor. And then we have Kane Woolley with 5 New Zealand dollars. Finished Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS5 for the first time this morning. Pacing issues aside, was a good time, and now going to jump into Intergrade. I actually want to revisit that with John and see, because one of his original videos on this channel was that he didn't love that game. So I'll be curious to see where he lands.
He did say that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll be
Yeah,
curious to see.
Even John's got to be wrong sometimes. Yeah.
True.
I need to replay that because Rebirth is almost out, and I haven't played it on the PS5, only on the PS4, so I need to replay it.
I was just thinking that, how I want to replay it. I wish I had time to before Rebirth. I totally agree with you, man.
Yep.
Oh man.
So let's see. And then finally, we have Max is Only with $5. Thank you for all the amazing content this year. Can't wait for more in 2024. Well, thank you. We have a little bit more amazing content to get through before the end of the episode. And I believe we started with Ash and his patron topic, correct?
Yes.
All right, Daniel, you go ahead with yours, and we'll keep moving here.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. That was over here. Mine is my question is from Hendrik Strog asking, what is a game like, oh gosh, I'm stumbling my words. What is a game you like that you think would be even better if the dev team added a musical level? Funny enough, we kind of touched on this already. I think I'm surprised that there's not a whole game on this, but a Sonic level based on with a specific like music level, a specific rhythm based level, something like that. We haven't, as far as I know, we haven't really had anything like that in any Sonic game, have we?
I'm trying to think. I don't believe so. Which seems like such a slam dunk to do.
There's been like music based zones and such, but
Cutie Caitlin says music plant zone, which is true, but it's not really like, it's not, the level isn't necessarily synced with the music. It's just a music themed level, right?
Yeah. But I'm just like, if there could be a whole game, a whole rhythm game with Sonic. I think we mentioned this before. Like, this is such an obvious idea. Why hasn't Sega done this already?
Right.
You know? But yeah, more or less, that's something I feel like it would really benefit the music theme, because music is such it's so integral to the Sonic, the Sonic series itself, whether it's like your jamming Genesis tunes or your butt rock, no matter what it is. I'm always loving whatever sound. If it's nothing else, no matter what the game plays like, music will always be fantastic. And I think they lean into that for once. But yeah, that's pretty much my answer for that one, real quick.
Nice. And this was which game could use a music level, right?
Which game do you think would be even better if the dev team added a musical level?
Oh man.
It's so, I mean, all of them, basically. Like every single one. Yes, please. I want everything to have something Hi-Fi Rush-esque in it, just where everything is synced to the music. But oh God, I mean,
yeah,
it's hard because we kind of had, I would say Mega Man, but we kind of had something like that with Time Man stage and Mega Man Powered Up, if I remember correctly. That there was there were some obstacles that were synced to the beat of the music. Man, it's so hard. I mean, as Vedran said, any game, kind of like I said, it's cheating, but I can't think of anything specific. I love music-based levels in anything I play them in.
I'm going to go hyper specific and say I would love it if Super Mario Run had a music themed level where like you had to tap the phone in beat to the music and it would make him do like increasingly cool jumps, flips, stunts, that kind of stuff. Because Mario Wonder kind of sold me on the idea of rhythm game Mario, but I feel like I'm bad at rhythm game Mario, so if the less control I have over the plumber, the more likely I'll get the desired result out of the game.
Yeah, I had that stage in mind too for Mario Wonder, because every time you jump to the beat, your character says like 1, 2, and there's just like the whole song, the whole stage is enveloped in the whole theme of music, and I thought that was really cool. So I'm assuming that's like the kind of style we're thinking of for adding a music-based level to the game. Yeah.
Okay, I've got something more specific. I want a 2D Zelda dungeon based around music, where the puzzles and the obstacles and everything you do, it's all based around the music in the dungeon. Like think Hi-Fi Rush, but it's a 2D Zelda dungeon.
I think
That's what I want.
I think it's hilarious that Zelda did a music-based game with Kingdoms of Hyrule before Sonic did
I
anything
know,
music-based instead.
right? Yeah.
But I could see that too, yeah.
I think that would be really cool, though. Like a music-based dungeon in Zelda. Or it could be 3D Zelda as well. It doesn't have to be 2D. But yeah, a music-based dungeon in Zelda, I think would be really cool.
We got a color-based dungeon. We got like time-based. I guess that counts. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things they could do with these concepts for sure. And I think music would be super cool with that too.
Yeah.
There's room for that in a new game if they want to make a new Zelda.
Squire says the final boss is Ganon Orchestra. That's great.
Ganon Orchestra.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah. So I think that is it for that one. Thank you so much for the question. Mine this week comes from Vedron. Vedron writes, "What indie game do you believe needs to be in more people's hands from this year or otherwise?" And I'm prepping a video on this, so this is kind of just shameless self-promotion. But Good Feel has has kind of an indie out in that it's not published by Nintendo, and it is quite possibly the best game they've ever made. It is called Mameta no Bakeru, and it's a platformer that takes heavy inspiration from Goemon. I absolutely love Goemon games. I think they're fun and silly, and I remember spending hours with Legend of the Mystical Ninja 64, like way back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I loved the SNES games. I always wanted to get my hands on the DS games, but those escaped me. I still need to pick those up, but I have always really, really enjoyed just basically that kind of vibe. And this game has you playing as a tanuki, which is the same animal as Tom Nook, and you can transform into a very kind of weird looking boy who like fights off enemies with drums. It is just the level of polish on this game makes it feel like Nintendo could have made it themselves. Like it's legit better than the Yoshi games that Good Feel has worked on. And it's got that same kind of silly air to it that we don't see too often. But it's like a 3D collectathon. Every couple levels, they introduce some new mechanic that's always kind of fun and interesting. Like I jumped into a car that was the head of a dog that like sprouted wheels and drifted around a super cartoony racetrack in it. And I had another level where I had to do a sumo match against a big sumo robot. Like it's just it's oozing with charm. I'll have a video on the channel next week about it, but yeah, if you can import it from PlayAsia or you can get cheap eShop credit on Amazon Japan, I strongly recommend getting it. I think it retails for like $30. Like it's a budget game and it's insanely good.
That sounds really cool. I'm so excited about your video because I hadn't heard of this and you mentioned it to us the other day, and I'm like, this sounds so right up my alley. It sounds weird as hell.
Yeah, and it is.
Yeah, that sounds great.
How about you guys? What are your indie gems that you want to let our audience know about?
Well, I mean, there's so many that, some obvious ones that I could mention, like, whatever, Just Shapes and Beats and Celeste and all. There's so many. I love indie games. There's so many obvious ones, but I actually kind of want to dig a little deeper and mention one that I don't think a lot of people know about. It's actually one of the earlier games that Housemarque made, and if you're familiar with Housemarque, they made Returnal most recently. So they definitely got some pedigree behind them. But it was published by Ubisoft, developed by Housemarque, and released way back in 2011. And it's a game called Outland. And this is a 2D Metroidvania, kind of crossed over almost with Ikaruga, which sounds crazy, I know, on paper. But basically, it's like a 2D Metroidvania platformer, but you can shift between light and dark on the fly. And whatever element you are immune to those bullets and those attacks. So you're basically shifting constantly between light and dark to absorb attacks and get through bullet hell type crazy stuff in the context of a Metroidvania platformer. And it's got a really cool look to it. It's just it's a game that I played way back when it came out on Xbox Live Arcade. And it just stuck with me for being just a really cool game that I haven't ever quite seen replicated ever since. Again, Metroidvania crossed over with Ikaruga type mechanics.
Nice.
So it is unfortunately console wise, it is stuck on Xbox 360 and PSN. I don't know if it's back compat on Xbox Series, but it is on Steam. So you can check it out on Steam if it sounds interesting to you. It's also on mobile, OS X and Linux. I guess not on Android, but it is on OS X. And not mobile. No, it's on Windows and Mac. My bad. But yeah, so it is stuck on older consoles, but you can play it on Steam.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool game.
How about you, Daniel?
I think, oh gosh. Actually, yeah. The one I would want to highlight the most is one I already recently talked about. It's called Chained Echoes. And that's it's a game by Matthews Linda. And it's essentially it's a role-playing game kind of inspired by games like Final Fantasy VI, Legend of Dragoon, Terra Enigma, Xenogears. It's a big amalgamation of different inspiration from different games, and I think it's a really cool game. My whole award show, the games of this year, well, from last year actually, is showing pretty much all you need to know. A little brief overview on that, but essentially, yeah, it's like games from back in that 16-bit era. The turn-based battle systems are what I really got into, because it's like there's a bar, and it's the overdrive bar, and you start off in the yellow area, and as you use attacks, you kind of nudge that arrow into the green area, which is when you're in overdrive, and you want to stay in that area. And the more attacks that you use, if you keep using the same attacks, it'll go up and overfill and go into the red zone, which will decrease your stats. You want to stay in the green because that keeps you at a boosted level. And certain attacks will have sometimes your attacks will have this gold highlight, where if you select it, the overdrive will go back down again, and you have to balance your attacks, and it's constantly going back and forth during a battle. And I thought it was a really cool way to approach experimenting different ways of attacking without just running in using the same strategy every time. It always changes a bit for you, and not so much that it becomes unplayable either. And yeah, it's just a really cool game. There's a lot of lore to it. If you like your lore-heavy games with a lot of story, it's very serious in that way. Great cast of characters. There's mechs in the game. Later in the game, you get access to fighting and exploring the world with mechs, and I thought that was really awesome. Yeah, just a lot of great ideas with this. And I guess at this era, it's probably going to get compared to games like Sea of Stars, but I still think it holds up very well in comparison to that. And you can find this on like pretty much every major console and on Steam as well. So yeah,
I actually have already heard it compared to Sea of Stars a lot, and people like to. I've seen people arguing about which one is better. I'm like, why not both? Why not both?
Play both.
Yeah, just play both.
I was looking this up while you were talking. It looks awesome.
Yeah,
that's my curse of being a fan of RPGs. I'm never going to finish all these games in my life.
Exactly.
They're too long. But yeah, definitely worth checking out if that seems like something that's up your alley.
Nice.
Oh, and Han in our YouTube chat can confirm that you can play the one I mentioned, Outland, on Xbox One and Series X and S. Thanks for the confirmation. So if what I mentioned about Outland sounds interesting to you and you have a Series or an Xbox One, check it out. It's really cool.
I have to give that a shot. I own it. I just haven't played much of it.
Oh, it's neat, man.
Awesome. Well, I've got a few more super chats for us, and then that's going to do it for this episode. Let's go ahead and jump into those. We have Feeling Dreepy with $2 who writes, who would win, Mega Man versus Astro Boy versus Metal Sonic? I feel like Astro Boy has some pretty crazy feats in the original manga. So I would probably go with Astro Boy.
So, I think so too, yeah.
It's hard. Hear me out. I know I'm biased. Astro Boy might be the right answer, and I think I would say Astro Boy prior to Mega Man 11. But then Mega Man 11, he has the double gear system, and he can slow down time. He can supercharge himself, plus the rush adapter, as Bolt Mouse X mentioned. Prior to Mega Man 11, I would say Astro Boy. After Mega Man 11 with double gear system, I'm kind of like, it could go either way. That's all I'm saying.
I just have to point this out. I literally just to educate myself Googled Astro Boy greatest feats, and I shit you not, the first result says
Oh no.
Astro Boy can casually lift a 100,000-ton ocean liner that blows out of the water any of Mega Man's strength feats. Like, I didn't put Mega Man in my search query at all.
Okay,
And they're
I didn't know
Astro Boy
targeted
bodies
question.
Mega Man.
Fair enough. That might be a little. I didn't know I don't know as much about Astro Boy, so fair enough. I was. Not
I find
aware.
that so
like a
funny
trick
that they're like,
question.
we know what you want to know. We
didn't
know
know.
exactly why you're Googling Astro
Fair
Boy.
enough. It's still Mega Man. Screw it.
Oh, well, thank you so much for the question. Jacomon with €5 says, do you think Pokemon should have a rhythm-based spin-off game? Yeah, I think everything should.
Absolutely. There
yeah.
were, fun fact, there were some Game Freak made a rhythm game called Harmonite on the 3DS, which is really cool, and it had some secret stages that were Pokemon themed, Pokemon music, which is cool. But
Yeah.
there should be a dedicated Pokemon.
100%.
Need more of that. Love
Yeah.
those music.
Let's see. We've got Twilord with €5 more. Sonic Rhythm Game. Imagine a rhythm fighter with dynamic remixes unknown from MEX. All Hail Shadow. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Cross Dreams of an Absolution. That could be cool.
That would be amazing.
Bring
And
back Sonic the Fighters, you cowards.
props to you, Twilight, for mentioning Dreams of an Absolution. That is a banger. I love that song so much, and it is the one good thing about Silver the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, I think you missed 2 super chats, Steve.
Oh, okay. I'm telling you, it's glitchy for me today. What have you
No
got?
worries. I got our good friend Becca with $31.17. Thank you so much, Becca. Happy New Year to all the GVG peeps out there.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Happy New Year to you as well. You know we all love
Yeah.
you, and thank you so much, Becca. And then five more euro from Jacomon. Thank you so much. Also, just remember that this is the last GVG live stream prior to 2024. So happy New Year, everyone. Well, happy New Year to you
thank
too.
you. Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Let's see. We've got Jason Uloa then. I think that's the next one.
Yes.
All right, $5. Just wanted to say Happy New Year to you guys and everyone watching. Hope your 2024 is full of good vibes. Thank you.
Thank you very
Happy New Year
much.
to
Thank
too.
you.
Disney Duncan with $5. My Little Pony shares something in common with Kingdom Hearts. Power of friendship, baby. That's
Yes.
why I like both.
All about the power of friendship. Hell yeah.
Don't knock it till you try it, I guess.
Yeah.
Jared Helder with $2 Canadian. How long will indie games keep coming to Switch? Honestly, I think kind of forever.
Until
the rest of-
Until
rest of
Nintendo
time.
doesn't let them submit them anymore. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And even then, I think people will homebrew some indies for it. But yeah, Nintendo's been kind to indie developers this year. I don't see that changing. They're one of the. I think they're the only one left of the big 3 that is still like making noise about indies. So good on Nintendo for actually like sticking with that. I think that it also gives great incentive for those smaller publisher or developers to put stuff on the console. And then finally, our final super chat of the show, Twilord with €5 more. Doesn't Metal Sonic have Chaos Control past heroes? Beats Double Gear. Yeah, I'm still going to go with Astro Boy just bodies, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know if that was a one-time thing. We've never seen Metal Sonic use Chaos Control post-Heroes ever again, so I don't know if that was a one-time thing or not. I'm going to say he didn't retain that power, personally.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. But
One
that
more
does
thing,
it.
Steve.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, really quick. We did forget our birthday shout-outs really quick, our patron birthday shout-outs.
Right,
No
right,
worries.
right.
So just a couple of quick ones. Happy birthday to 112 and Vedron, who both celebrated their birthday on Thursday, December 28th. So happy belated birthday
Yeah,
you
to both of you. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy
All right.
birthday.
With that, we are at the end of the show. I promise we've got a patron exclusive post show to go to, and we've got 2 new patrons that can join us for that show.
Yeah.
So check the link in the live audience since you're new here. We will have a link to our exclusive post show there for both of you that joined during the show. But we couldn't do this without giving a special thank you to all of our patrons at the producer tier and above. You guys literally help keep the lights on around here. It would be so dark and cold without you. But we have to give an extra special shout out to our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And I know specifically off the top of my head 2 of you, but it includes many more folks, which I'm grateful to be able to say. And those fine, wonderful, incredible, amazing folks, as Ash would say, include Brandon Bovia, Cutie Caitlin, Fangs, Z Patty, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman 23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, The D-Pad, Blake, Joy Content, Angel Martinez, Vedran, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Azran127, Black King, Joseph Rutkin, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Wataniac, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Andrew Medeiros, Darchi, Becca, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber CPHT, Too Much Spaghetti, Bane 400, Ascaron 809, Reoner, Rain and Clouds, The Game Orb, Super Gamer Dude 101, Mercury, Ravolox, my mom, hi mom, Skull Kid Tiger, Dark Steel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jersic, Derek, Colin, Blaze 25, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Keel, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Brainchild, the entire state of Wisconsin, Jim Wakeland, Aramis Veramis, Kyle the Monarch, Dad Alpha Lion, Lord Metarex, Blaze Collard, Eric, Cat Evie Person 5, Peyton Thiel, Mega Beatman True Blue Reviews, Ryan Hanley, The Game Jamie, Alex, Zombie Joe, Esax08, and last but not least, Ikaro. I hope I said that okay. They told me to pronounce it however I want. I went with kind of sort of Japanese. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. 2023 has been the best year in GVG's history. Thanks to each and every one of you who tune in, who watch us, or just, whether you support us on Patreon or not. I know that your support means the world to my cohorts here as well as everyone else at
Absolutely.
GVG. Thank you guys so much for making 2023 the best year we've ever had. And here's 2024. We'll see you guys next week for the first episode of GVGcast in the new year. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, good night and good vibes. Bye, everyone.
Bye everybody.
Again.
Thank you. Bye.